Hey, how's it going?
Good, man.
We just talked 15 minutes ago, but we're back on live now.
Yeah.
Um, Perfect. Hey everybody, welcome to the 16th edition of the Fireside Chat. My name is Om Gandhi. We got a 1033 code there saying, "Hey gents."
What's up? What's up, Nathan?
My name is Om Gandhi. I'm a co-owner of Run Try Bike. And I'm here with our guest, hybrid athlete, Sachin Latti.
That's
Sachin,
cool.
welcome to the show.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, super happy to have you on. Before we segue into this, I just wanted to give a shout out to two of our sponsors. She Strong Monarch Triathlon takes place on October 22nd, 2022, Kingman, Arizona. It's an all-female point-to-point race. You can find your registration on active.com. Really awesome race, really awesome people. Also wanted to shout out Idaho Running Day by Boise Running, September 17th, 2022 in Boise, Idaho. They got distances from the 5K to the Boston Qualifier Marathon. Sachin, super excited to have you on. Hybrid athlete. I guess a good place to start is what is your elevator pitch for somebody who asks about who Sachin Latti is?
Well, it'd be, I just want to be a better person for everyone around me and affect permanent positive change. So I usually say that to everybody every time I meet them because that's what I want to do, and that's my elevator pitch.
Yeah, I love that, man. Like it's all about spreading that positive vibe, that positive energy, and just making the community a better place, right?
Yeah, and the best way, at least I know how. So what I'm trying to do, the best way I can do it. So
Yeah, exactly. Um, and for those of you who just joined us, since this is kind of like an informal 1 hour chat, yeah, 1033 Kill says love it, and he's doing just that. I love that. Uh,
thanks, man.
for those of you who are just joining us, if you have any questions, Sachin will answer them. There is a question mark on the bottom right of your screen, and you can ask a question, and about every 10 minutes we'll stop and we'll look at those questions and I will read them out loud. So feel free to ask Sachin any questions that you have, and he is more than happy to answer them.
Yeah, I'll do my
So
best anyway.
yeah, we'll both do our best, buddy. That's all we can do. That's
Yeah,
all we
right.
can do.
Yeah, man.
So tell me, so I saw that you're trying to raise $30,000
Yeah.
for Honor House. So I want you to tell me about Honor House and why you're raising money for Honor House. And yeah, just tell me all about that.
Sure. Well, Honor House is a local charity here in the Vancouver area in British Columbia, Canada. And what they do is they support all first responders, so all policing, firefighters, paramedics, and veterans with occupational stress injuries, so PTSD and things of that nature. And the $30,000 that I'm trying to raise this year will be going towards a ranch that they're building 3 hours outside of the city here. And they're building 10 cabins with cutting edge treatment, equine therapy, the whole 9 yards. For anyone who applies, that they can go there and stay with their families free of charge. So the money I'm trying to generate is to go to them to support them for this year.
Wow, man, that's really awesome. And I just love that there's like a ranch and a service that does things like that, provides services like that. Why does that hold a special connection to you?
Well, I have my own mental health battles, like many people do, and over the last couple 3 years, I've struggled myself with depression, anxiety, and so those things I've, I've connected with a lot of people based on that, and through meeting a lot of people through running, a lot of these connections have happened, and I feel like that's what I'm meant to do, so that's why I'm doing it.
Yeah, I love that answer. You feel like you are where you need to be, pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And we just talked about mental health, depression, anxiety. And so I think that's a good segue into the next question. You're an advocate for mental health. What does that mean to you?
What does an advocate mean? Well, someone who speaks up when they see something that isn't right. and
Yeah.
especially when as it relates to mental health, because I'm really connected to it. And so I see a lot of things that I think can be done better. I'm not sure if I'm the person to do them, but there are a lot of other people out there that are doing a lot of amazing things, and I just want to be able to help support those types of people who are doing those types of things. So I look at myself as a voice, someone who talks about mental health and not shy about it. And I'm pretty open about my own struggles. And I feel like that's my way of being an advocate.
I love that. And we actually have a comment here in the chats from Open Air Options saying, awesome, such great cause. Thanks for doing what you do.
Thanks,
And
bro. Appreciate it, man.
1030 says, got a split. Much love to you, though.
Thanks, buddy.
Um, so what would you tell somebody that's going through those mental health struggles? Somebody who's sitting in the dark, feels like they don't have that support, don't feel like they're alone. What would you say to those people?
Well, the reality is a lot of people aren't alone. We may think we are. I thought I was alone many, 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 many times when in fact I never was. So I think it's the first thing I would suggest is just reach out. Doesn't matter even to whom. Reach out to somebody. Somebody will help. Definitely. At least I'd hope so.
Yeah, and I know I know we just talked about in the green room too. I mean, especially not just people in general reaching out for help, but like males reaching out for help, I think is extremely important. People of color, especially from the Indian community, reaching out for help. You mentioned, you talked to me a little bit about the household, and how
Yeah.
you're kind of the first person who is breaking the stigma, who's breaking those chains. So like, what does that mean to you specifically?
Yeah, man. I mean, on multiple fronts, we can break so many different barriers, right? So, as a male, I think it's pretty important that we speak up. We have feelings, we feel certain ways, so it's important to talk about it. I was just watching the other day a UFC fight, and one of the fighters, he won, and one of his friends committed suicide that day. So
Wow.
he was voicing his opinion on the stigma, and you know, people just need to speak up. You need to talk. You need to reach out. Essentially, that's what I took away from that. But yeah. So, and then the Indian community, so it's speaking on mental health is I don't even know if it's taboo. People just don't know. They just don't even understand. I wouldn't
Yeah,
even say it's a taboo thing. It would only be taboo if they understood exactly what it was and then don't talk about it. But they don't understand. At least in my household, they don't quite understand. They're understanding now because of me sharing a lot of information. It's been a struggle over the last 3 years, well, really my entire life, because you understand things later on in life based on seeking out treatment and whatnot. You start figuring out things and how things may have transpired as a youth up until
yeah,
adulthood. But having said that, I think it's speaking transparently, communicating, and doing it as much as often. That's what I'm doing with my family, and hopefully that helps. And it has. So far, so good.
yeah. I love to hear that you're paving the way as the first person to speak out about that, and you're changing not only your own perception, but you're changing the perception of your family as well.
Yeah.
Um, Looks like we got a question here. It's from Kobos 5503. He says, David Kobos, awesome guy, says, when are you going to come down and party in the cave with the wolf pack?
Who, me? Yeah, I'm anytime. I got a pretty stacked up schedule for the next what are we at? August, September. After November, I can probably make a move, but I don't know if I want to come down in November. I want to come in a nice,
Yeah, you want to come
nice
down better
weather
weather.
and everything. So
Yeah,
I'm thinking probably in the new year, man. I'm gonna come down to the States and California. I want to hit up some people and go for some runs
we'll
and
go.
learn what you guys are doing, man, because you guys are doing some pretty awesome stuff there too. And I want to be able to tap you guys on the shoulder so I can learn a little bit.
I appreciate that. Yeah, we all learn from each other. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And That sounds good, man. We'll lock some miles in California for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
So just wanted to take, so we're just about 10 minutes in. So I just wanted to welcome everybody who's just coming in to the 16th edition of the Fireside Chat. And want to introduce myself. I'm Om Gandhi. I'm the co-owner of Run Tribe Bike. I'm here with hybrid athlete Sachin Latti. So happy to have him on the show. It's been an awesome conversation so far, and glad to have people funneling in and joining this awesome chat. You know, we're just getting started.
Hmm.
I just wanted to shout out a couple more sponsors here. For swimmers and triathletes looking for reliable wet gear, check out Blue 70. They're awesome partners to us, and they've given us a discount code RTB20 for your first purchase. You get 20% off on anything. That includes accessories, any gear. Same thing with SBR Sports. They gave us a code for 25% off, RTB22. Check out their tri-slide if you're having chafing issues. If you're dealing with fogging in your glasses, they got these wipes called Foggies. They've got everything you need to make sure that you perform well in open water. And yeah, so now we'll segue into the next question. This is all leading up to a larger goal, which is you're kind of like the wolf pack, and you're kind of like me in a sense too, where like we're both seeking these larger goals. So I wanted to ask you about what this is. I see on it's written there on your Instagram, the mission Run Across Canada. So tell me all about that. Is it exactly what it sounds like?
Yeah, man. So over the last couple, I was going to like a quick sort of synopsis of how it all came about and what's kind of going on. So over the last 3 years, like many people during the pandemic, a lot of people have been struggling for sure, and I'm no exception to that. And over the last 3-4 years, I've been struggling with mental health, and during the pandemic, I'd hit the gym, and I was actively doing jujitsu. I was, jujitsu player, so I would do roll all the time, and couldn't once the pandemic hit. So once I was dealing with a lot of my mental health issues, like really, like it was hitting hard at that time. And then they took away my jiu-jitsu, so then my connection with people started going away because I was using jiu-jitsu to kind of connect with people. And so I was forced to do something I hadn't done in 25 years, which was run. I hadn't run since high school, like legitimately hadn't run since high school. And the only reason I started running was because I was in such mental fucking shit that I started buying books, and I hadn't read. I never used to read. So I just started buying books, and I started, the beginner ones that you're going to get, your Jocko Willink's kind of books, and they also got Goggins' Can't Hurt Me, right? So I read the first 2 chapters of the book. I didn't finish it yet, but I read the first 2 chapters, and I was like, okay, you know what? I hate running. I haven't run since high school. Let me do something I don't like. So that's what started the ball rolling. I didn't even run. So I just started running, and I only started like maybe doing 3 5Ks, and my 5Ks were like 35 minutes, like nothing. It was just whatever, right? 37, something like that. But I stuck with it and kept going and kept pushing myself, kept grinding, kept going, pushing myself, and then I did a half marathon within a month or 2, something like that, and not pretty. It was ugly. Like I just did it, and then but constantly testing myself. Then started doing. I started. And mind you, I'm very an isolated kind of guy. I stay, on my own most of the time. So it was easy to test myself. So I started doing, running, see how much I could run in a week. And then I started pushing myself there. And then I got to about 125K a week. And then anyway, so long story short, through testing myself, I heard, I was listening to a lot of Rogan, and Cam Hanes would come on there quite often. And I heard he was running, when he would be training, he'd run a marathon a day, right? Yeah. So I got thinking, I go, man, that's pretty awesome. He's older than me. I should be able to do something like that. Well, like, how can he do that? And I can't. So I started pushing myself to do that. So then I worked my way up from 10K to 21K a day. So what is that? 13 miles a day. And so I did that. And once I hit that mark, I was like, okay, you know what? Then running across Canada isn't that hard of a step, because if I run 21, going to 42 a day, it's not that hard. You just do 21 in the morning, 21 in the afternoon or something. That's the logic I was thinking with.
Like a
And
marathon day.
yeah, so the reason why that's a massive or a major sort of thing, I'm Canadian, right? And there's an iconic person in Canada who started the whole run across Canada idea. And his name is Terry Fox. And he was 21, 22, in and around that age. He had cancer, and he had his, I can't remember which leg, but one of his legs was amputated. So he was running a marathon a day to raise money for cancer research on one leg. And so Canada coast to coast is 7,300 kilometers. I'm not sure what that is in miles, but it's far.
A lot.
Yeah. And
Just a lot.
so he was running a marathon a day, and his goal was to raise a dollar for every person in Canada. So like the goal was to like 25 million or 20 million, whatever it was at that time. And he didn't make it. His cancer came back, and he passed away halfway during the course of it. But to this day, hundreds of millions of dollars have been raised in his name for cancer research. Hundreds of millions of dollars. And he's got statues all over the place in this country. So that's why there's a major sort of thing as it relates to Canadians when people talk about running across Canada. It's almost like doing it in his footsteps. So the reason why I started thinking about running across Canada is I was looking at mental health as a similar issue as cancer was back when he started. And so my whole vision was I want to be able to figure out a way to galvanize the entire country across a common goal, which is mental health and raising awareness and raising funds for PTSD, occupational stress injuries. So that's where the concept came from, and really what I'm trying to execute against over the next 3 years.
Yeah, that is so awesome. It must have been going from the pandemic to, we all faced those struggles of where we were in the lockdown. And
yeah,
I know for a fact that like a lot of places, especially Canada, especially in like Los Angeles, like you couldn't do anything when the lockdown started. And it took away like the pace of life from us, and we all struggle with our mental health. And so it totally makes sense that this is like an issue that is prominent right now that needs to be tackled.
Agreed.
So how do you go from planning something like, what is the process behind like planning something like running across Canada, and how do all the other components come together, like running for Honor House and all the other races? Is it just kind of like, what is Sachin's strategy? Is it kind of like make it up as I go, or is it like
no,
do what feels right?
I have a rough outline of what my plan is. Now I'm not married to that. It's a rough outline. So if it deviates in certain directions, and if the opportunities present themselves, then we go in those directions. But the ultimate goal is to effect permanent positive change. That's what Terry Fox did 40 years ago with cancer. He's passed away. He's still raising money. So the goal would be to do something like that. So lost my train of thought. Well, can you ask the question again?
Oh yeah, I was just asking kind of like what the process was of like this all coming together, the roadmap.
Yeah, so really last year was I trained myself to do the whole thing. Like I ran 100K last November from one city to another. So it was about 100 kilometers. And during that time, I raised $21,000 for a veteran organization here that supports veterans with PTSD and occupational stress injuries. So that was the first foray into me even doing anything. And after I did that, that changed my entire perspective in life, because I had never done anything like that, never fundraised, never really done anything for anyone else outside of my profession, right? Working in law enforcement. So when I did that, that just got me thinking even more, well, you know what? I have certain skill sets that I can capitalize, and I need to do that instead, because my skill sets are pretty extreme in certain areas, so I can focus those things and see if I can execute against them at a high level. So anyways, so I did that, and then this year I plan to do 8 ultras, all for the idea of just training for the entire year for 2025. So once I started doing a lot of that, now I've hired a coach, Coach Ron. He's helping me. A few other people have started kind of helping me through that because I can't do it all by myself. Like I'm more of like a guinea pig. Just, hey man, what do I got to do? And I'll just do that and then and grind it out. So this year is the training year to get faster because my goal is to break the record for the fastest run across Canada. So I could probably run 50K a day right now. I can do it right now, every single day, run across Canada, no problem. I mean, it'd be sore, I'd be in pain and all that kind of stuff, but I could do that today, right? But how can we affect more change? How can we affect more positivity? How can we garner more attention? How can we make more awareness? That's by me leaving my job, taking leave of absence, working full-time, training full-time, hiring all the right people, and then breaking a record to do something that a guy named Dave Proctor, phenomenal athlete, last week broke the record to run across Canada. The record to run across Canada was 72 days, 10 hours. He crushed it with 67 days. So he was running 107 kilometers a day for 67 days.
Well, that is amazing. That's mind blowing, man.
And with elevation in the Rockies and shit. Like, so he's now a person who's broken the record. The record was there for 30 years, hadn't been touched, and he crushed it. So my goal is to train as hard as I can for the next 2 years to beat it. I don't know if I can. I've never done this before. I know what kind of athlete I am, so I'm going to do what I can to do it. Now, if I don't,